is our liver. Now for go along. You take it from Peter today, Paul will take it from you tomorrow, mama. Sweet, sweet, living is sweet, oh, whether rich or poor. Why not pray for a long fellow? He can pray for a long life. As long as they live, you know, the better we grow. Fine, power is fine, oh, it can make you heavy. It's just like a brook, you know, it's way to capsize. Sweet, sweet kiss our liver. Not for go alone. Human being can eat it, or a preacher can eat it. Kiss our liver, kiss our liver, oh, sweet kiss our liver. Not for go alone. You take it from Peter today, oh, Paul will take it from you tomorrow, mama. You take it from Mary today, oh, mother will take it from you tomorrow. Fine, oh, by your fine, when in your fever. Well, people do to you, you go to cry. Hard enough for one person, oh, it's a matter of time. Hard time is a lesson, yeah, brother, this I had. Sweet, sweet kiss our liver, not for go alone, mama. Human being can eat it, oh, the deer can eat it. Kiss our liver.
So yes, indeed, sweet, sweet cassava leaf is not for go alone.
Sweet, sweet cassava leaf, not for go alone.
This is the Oeba Comment Show, coming to you on Tuesday.
You must eat it, or a preacher eat it too.
So I'd like to say thank you for watching. Keep sharing this live video.
Sweet living is sweet, oh, whether rich or poor. Why not pray for a long fellow? He can pray for long life. As long as they living, the better we grow.
So let me say a very big thank you to you all. It is a pleasure to be with you once again on the Oeba Comment Show. Today we are broadcasting from studio. We are not broadcasting from the radio. And yesterday we host District Number 9 aspiring Honorable Fubi Amaherens. There are a lot of things discussed. And I believe if it's ready now, we will continue the discussion, but we'll contact him later. And there are a lot of things to discuss, a lot of issues, a lot of happenings around the corridors, and a lot of information to be exposed. So we will keep enjoying the music while you keep sharing the live video. We'll keep enjoying the music. We are here up to exactly 1:30. So keep enjoying this live video from Labrador legendary singer Jones Dopo.
Why not pray for a long fellow? He can pray for a long life. As long as they live, you know, the better we grow. Fine, power is fine, oh, it can make you heavy. It's just like a brook, you know, it's way to capsize. Sweet, sweet kiss our liver, not for go alone. Human being can eat it, Oro kujo gen ire. Kesawali, Kesawali, oh, sweet Kesawali, oh. Now for go along. You take it from me there today, oh, Paul will take it from you tomorrow, mama. You take it from me right today, oh, mother will take it from you tomorrow. Fine, fine, oh, fine, fine. May in your favor.
So again, Sweet Sweet Cassava leave is not for go alone. We are here. We are here regardless the fact that everything, but we are here. We are fresh and ready for the broadcast. A lot of things will be happening, and it is. I feel pleased because of you guys. I feel very much pleased in my spirit because of you guys. Uh, keep on coming on the show. Keep on your encouragement. So keep sharing this live video. Thank you, Adizana. Adizana, hi. Thank you very much for following this broadcast. You are our usual follower. Thank you. Now, most listeners, thank you for following. And this is the Honorable Comment Show. This is where we do what we know how to do best. This is where we can do our normal political exposure. This is where we practice our normal political situations, expose ills in society, inform our Liberian people about what is happening. I know people want to say, "Koda, you too energized today." So you have to be too energized because if you want to persuade the information, if you want to give the information out, you have to be too energized to allow the people to know what you're about to say. So today we'll be exposing the last from the president because as we all know that there was recent time a video circulating social media about President George Manuel Weah stating to numerous of Liberians at the Bagube Church, his Bagube Church, saying he won 7%, he won the 2017 elections with 78% votes. So we tell you how naive it is to lie to a group of Liberians. We'll be exposing some of that. We'll also be giving Mr. Cummings' vision statement, giving our full view about it. And we'll be going deeper into Mr. Cummings' analysis at the, the ANC Global Fundraiser Program, where you talk about the digitalization. And that is where I was centered around from the beginning of the discussion first, because that is our fee, and then we will give our own opinion on that before coming back. Again, you enjoy the music. You enjoy this music. We'll be back.
People do to you, you got to cry. Hard enough for one person, oh, it's a matter of time. Hard time is a lesson.
So if you listen to Mr. Cummings, and I will play this video. I will play this video, and after the video, I'll give a full analysis on why it is important for us to digitalize and decentralize our education system. And I will give you counts. Why is it our students and our research ability as librarians, they are very poor? Why is it we are beyond time when it comes to word information? And where we need to go to the search for the reference informations? And we'll be informing students that the internet, the World Wide Web, is a place for cross sections of ideas and research materials. But it is based on your research ability to know the reference materials to use. And that's the reason why Mr. Cummings made that statement that the education system need to be digitalized and decentralized. So listen to Mr. Cummings' statement when he had his interview, a group of conversation at the ANC Global in Canada.
He then returned to Liberia in 2016 to serve his country in business, in politics, and in philanthropy. As part of his philanthropy, the Cummings Africa Foundation has invested nearly $1 million, I'm sure it's more now, into health, education, entrepreneurship, and the arts, with a focus on women and youth empowerment in Liberia. So we look forward to hearing his remarks both as a businessman, as a philanthropist, and as a leader. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Alex Cummings.
Let me talk a little bit about my perspective on development and how through partnerships we can develop our country and indeed the African continent. The first thing I would say is that I remind Liberians that we have to own the problems. We have to own the solutions. And then we have to identify partners who can help us solve or achieve the solutions. Too often today, and it is their money and their resources, but partners will come and tell us what they want to do for us. But for it to be sustainable, for us to own it, so that when our partners leave, these solutions can be enduring, requires that we take the time and in every sector understand the issues and agree amongst ourselves, and we can even get help in developing the solutions, but be clear on how we're going to solve problems of education, for example, of healthcare, of investing in agriculture, or whatever our challenges are, but we have to own it. And too often there's a dependency mentality. We'll depend on our international partners. We'll go to the Canadians, the Americans, etc., etc. So we used to talk about it, the tripartite, government, private sector, civil society, working together to solve some of the issues we have in Africa and other developing countries around the world, finding that common ground. Government brings a lot to the party, the private sector brings a lot to the party, and so does civil society. And how can we get those three entities to work together to find these solutions, again, that are enduring, making sure we're engaging locals in that process. So, I'm in politics, as you may know. I'm running for the presidency of Liberia. And so one of the areas we're focused on is education. And within education, we are focused on teachers training at every level, university level, secondary, primary, because garbage in, garbage out, right? You don't have good quality instructors, you're not going to have a good educational system. And today, because we don't have a lot of qualified teachers, critical mass of teachers, we can use technology. We can use Zoom. I've done that politically. I've met with young people sitting in one city in Monrovia, they're in another city, in a room, in a hall, and we're having political conversations, political discussions. So we can take the few great professors and teachers we have, and they can sit in any city in Liberia, and they can have classes until we create a critical mass of teachers. So having a library or having a center like is what is being constructed can be the hub of that sort of activity for the country, where people can come, technology is set up, you have these centers around the country, and you can begin to impart knowledge beyond what a traditional library system would do in Liberia. So these are examples of very practical things we can do to help to develop our countries. Partnerships are important. Relationships matter. Identifying the right level of expertise, identifying the resources. I think, for example, like we've under-leveraged a potential relationship with Canada. Liberians tend to focus primarily on the U.S., our historical partners, and so we need to continue to do that. kind of the EU, Europe is the next piece. I think there's an opportunity to build relationships with the Canadians to again come and help us, solve some of our challenges, develop the country. Scandinavia is another area I think we want to leverage as a country as well.
So if you listen to Mr. Cummings focus all his discussion around the education system. And indeed, the education system, it is something we need to look at. Our entire education. So that Mr. Cummings said that the education system need to be revamped, we should rebuild, restructure our education system, decentralize. That Mr. Cummings made reference about a Zoom learning program where you have your instructor in Ghana, you have your instructor in America, in Australia, and you are in Liberia. You people are communicating. It's like instructing you what to do, what not to do. There's a digital art system, right? We can set it. And let me give quite example to a school. And I will say this, no offense to the school. I will say this to Bluegrass University. Uh, if your instructor travel, I've experienced that before in my first year there. So if your instructor travel and you have the opportunity to, if your instructor have the free time to broadcast some of your school materials, you can see in digital virtual learning. You can be involved into virtual learning. So the virtual activities can web away people who does not have that understanding, that teaching capacity to even teach you the raw materials. Maybe you have to let Mr. Cummings talk about it. Look at library system. I will show it to you. This is a school library. I'm not call the school name. See the pictures. This is a school library in Liberia where you see books part of this. In a digitalized environment, you cannot see books part of this. Everything is been placed on a PDF file, or you be restricted to an online filing system where you have all of your e-books, all of your e-materials, everything that you can be on. A school's entire high school library is looking at this. This is a government institution, the entire school library. So Mr. Cummings is speaking about how we can decentralize our education system. It is important. Government is not providing subsidies for private schools, private university around. And government is not even building private schools and private government is not even building public schools and public libraries around the country. Decentralization is on the scarce. Government institutional libraries like this. Government institutional libraries like this. So these are some of the ideas Mr. Cummings come with. These are some of the understanding Mr. Cummings come with. These are some of the developmental agenda Mr. Cummings come with. And if we must follow Mr. Cummings' path of developmental understanding from the corporate environment down to politics, down to changing Liberia, we should also adapt to Mr. Cummings' change system. If we don't adapt to Mr. Cummings' change system, we not understand what Mr. Cummings want. We just want to support Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings is always saying this. We cannot keep doing the same things and expect different results. We cannot keep electing the same officials and expect different things to happen. Let us make the necessary change. And that change is inserted and embedded into the leadership of Mr. Cummings. And we need to see how best we can transform. If we do not transform our mind, our attitude, our behavior towards election, we will not transfer our mind, our attitudes, our behavior to election, we will bear the consequences for over 6 years. We'll bear that consequences, the similar consequences we are currently bearing with George Weah. We need to change the status quo. We need to change every aspect of learning in this country. And that's the reason why we support Mr. Cummings. We will be with Mr. Cummings. We will support him fully. And Mr. Cummings, we believe that Mr. Cummings is the best option for our country comes to it. Now, let's move to another issue, right? And I'll look for this Bible verse. And I'll look for this Bible verse before I make my case. Look for it before I make my case. We need to make that change. We need to make a specific change in this country. A specific change need to be made in this country. And if we don't make that change, I trust you, we don't want to see what we see. And I'll say, let me see. Let me see. Proverbs 14 verse 11 says, and I will say this first. I will quote this Bible verse and give my view. Proverbs 14 verse 11 says, where there is no guidance, a people fail, but in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. Where there is no, is the Bible verse is clearly trying to say, where there is no guidance, right? Where you have your government lack the understanding, the willpower to transform things, where you have people who does not have the understanding. Even there's another Bible verse, a Bible verse that says, where there's no vision, the people perish. And if we do not have the vision, if the government do not have the vision, the government do not have the ideas, the government do not have the wisdom, the people perish. Where there's no wisdom, our people perish. Similar things is happening to the CDC administration. Imagine the president of the Republic of Liberia came on air publicly and lied. President George Weah came on air publicly and lied to our people. Lied to our people publicly. Sometimes when we're seeing some of these things, people can feel that we want to be against George Weah, right? But we don't want to be against George Weah. We want to tell George Weah the fact. George Weah came on air and lied publicly, but the videos went viral, that he and George Weah accommodate 78% vote in the 2017 general presidential election, which of course it is a complete blatant lie that the president did. The president lied to us and he accommodated 78% votes. And we have CDC media propagandists carrying the information. Mr. Cummings have 7%. And one thing I love and I admire about ANC, we as propagandists of the ANC, Mr. Cummings have 7.12% votes. We accepted the fact. He was still saying that for 7%, we'll increase our vote from 7% to 70%. But because George Weah never understand our propaganda message, George Weah said he obtained 78%. Because George Weah want to be in a tower of conversation with the ANC. So because we said we will increase Mr. Cummings' popularity, Mr. Cummings' percentage that he received in the 2017 election from 7% to 70%, which is winning the first round. So George Weah came on air to say, in 2017, I obtained 78%. and which of course is a blatant lie from the angle of the president. Let me play you this video. You will see, and credit to local voice of Liberia.com. Credit to them. They published this information and we took this information to deform, to trash the lies made by the president. Listen to it. Just view this video. View this video. We're taking a step by step. You see? Seeing the video step by step. This video portrayed, the video clearly showing the database of the 2017, the total results of the national results of the 2017 election. And what did the database showing? President Weah won with President Weah won with. We can get you the votes. President Weah should stop lying. You don't have to lie for people like you, right? You don't have to lie. You don't have to be a liar before people like you. Being a liar will not help you. President Weah won with 596,037 votes, which amount to 68%. That was the votes. So President Weah will not be coming out here to be lying to us. You see, there is a total votes. 732,185 votes amount to 61,554%. So this is the exact percentage vote President Weah received. And we'll continue to give all of these facts. When the president lie, come and get the facts. Mr. Cummings spoke about conducting census. We have Samuel Tua conducting census before the 2017 election. We have Samuel Tua and criticizing how Mr. Cummings will come out to say we should conduct census. Mr. Cummings says it's over at more than 10 years. We have not conducted any census in this country. The criticizing. Today, Legis is conducting tests for the census. Ms. George Weah came out with iron data, iron information saying that there's massive war for rest in this country. At the end of the day, the president have now appointed a group of people calling themselves the rest task force people to carry that to go find a place where. So if you don't have information, if the president does not have the needed information, maybe probably the president may be not schooled to that level to understand figure, to understand digits, right? But you cannot be as completely as dumb as it is to not know the percentage that you want. You cannot be as completely dumb as it is as a president and cannot know how many percentage you won in the 2017 election. So it was the same thing CDC did. CDC lied in 2017 that they were going to liberate Liberian people. CDC is still living on the lies. So President we have the guts to come and lie to the people of Liberia publicly. And not knowing we have people in the media institution with research ability that can research information and dig the facts. So I think the office of the president need to apologize for this lies. For this, I call it like mere lies because he wanted to gain political favor. So you have to do this. So these are some of the lies. I'll just like showing you. I just want to bring to bear some of this information circulating around CDC corridors, right? I just want to bring to bear some of them because this show is actually meant for that. And another thing again, Mr. Cummings, is that, people been arguing, oh, Mr. Cummings appointed warlords, Mr. Cummings associated himself with people, with facts. Mr. Cummings saying in America, hey, look, if there's any evidence, I uphold to establishing the World Economic Code in this country. If there's any evidence against these people, the society and country will take actions, and I will take the needed actions. So bring some of the facts, bring the evidence, bring, citizens cannot argue, well, citizens not get anything to do with that, the way the president not get anything to do. So citizens cannot say to make lies, to make propaganda, and if you bring up propaganda that's not factual, with someone come to counter argue, and then you become shame, and then you even understand what to do. It's the same thing with with CDC. You lie about Mr. Cummings doing everything in this country. Mr. Cummings is against people, and Mr. Cummings is against this, against that, against this, against that. You even lie on people that pointed until Cummings campaign. So what is your point? What is your argument? What is your point? What is your information? Listen,
Behave the way they did in the past is because they can get away with it. And what I'm saying to you and everybody here is that um, the rules will be different. They will be enforced, and people will either comply with the rule or they will bear the consequences of that. And if any of these people, if the evidence leads to them stealing, killing, whatever else, whether they support me or not, the rule of law will run its course. They know that. I'm serious about that. But there were a lot of people we name who didn't have any of these issues, if you will. Look, I've done a lot of corporate restructuring, genius stuff. And when you come into an organization as a leader in the private sector, you don't get rid of everybody in the corporation, right? You get rid of a few people, you bring one or two new people in, but typically you change the environment, you change the culture, you change the governance process and the systems. And those same people who were not performing last year will perform this year and perform better because you change the environment, you change the structure, you give them roles that are better suited for them. They know their consequences. They know you demand performance. And if they don't perform, they will lose their jobs. And so that's what we have to do. Look, the country has, I'm sorry to say, not many people, with experience and stuff that are pure. And I remind everyone, you got to meet the country where it is before you change it. If I stay over here, quote unquote, Mr. Perfect, and the country is here, we'll never get to lead the country. You have to meet the country where it is, and hopefully you can change it over time.
so that goes step by step. What Mr. Cummings is saying, right? That goes step by step. We'll go step by step on this information, what Mr. Cummings is saying, step by step to allow people to understand.
Many of the people behave the way they did in the past is because they can get away with it.
You listen to Mr. Cummings? Many of those who behave the way they behave in the past is because they know they can get away with, they know they can get away with them in the present. Those who participated in the war and killed our people, who supported the war and killed our people in this country, like you, who supported, who was involved in buying arms and ammunition for terror, they supported the war because they know they could get out of it. Nobody could do anything to them. So Mr. Cummings is saying, if you want to criticize this thing, go ahead and criticize. But I remain unbending on my decisions to prosecute all those that was formed in the Civil War. that was against our people during the Civil War crisis. That's the reason why I stand firm, I stand unbending to tell our Liberian people that I, Mr. Cummings, if you are on my team and you are being impacted, if the evidence is out, I have to change the narrative. I have to change the narrative of the argument. Mr. Cummings is saying that. So if you say certain group of people are on my team that they was participating in the Liberian Civil War, where's your evidence? Were they being indicted? Were they being prosecuted by any court? So do not make wild cast allegations on people character that you don't even have facts about. Listen to Mr. Cummings again.
And what I'm saying to you and everybody here is that the rules will be different. They will be enforced, and people will either comply with the rule or they will bear the consequences of that.
You listen to Mr. Cummings? Mr. Cummings said the rules will be different, the rules will be enforced. It's either you get in line with the rule or you get out of the rules. So Mr. Cummings is always saying he remain unbending. It's either you get the rules will be enforced. The rules of establishing the war and economic concord in this country will be enforced. It's either you comply with the rules or you get away. So if you have been found guilty, if there is evidence, it's either you apply by the rules or we have to change. Mr. Commissioner, we made reference in a few minutes of the conversation. Mr. Commissioner, we made reference saying that there are a lot of things, there are a lot of information that people have been saying, but I've been in the private sector. I did a lot of changes in the private sector. So I know how to do changes even in my political life. Listen,
And if any of these people, if the evidence leads to them stealing, killing, whatever else, whether they support me or not, the rule of law will run its course.
you listen to this is one of the big deal of the conversation. Mr. Cummings said, if any of my team members, Mr. Cummings is saying a caveat, if any of my team members, evidence come from them, evidence come out that they were involved in the Liberian Civil War, to prosecution or to evidence for any legal court or legal jurisdiction, you have to face the law. I will carry this recording back. You have to face the law. Listen to Mr. Cummings. If any of my team members, if evidence come out to say that you are involved in the Liberian Civil War by a legal jurisdiction, then it means that you have to face the law. The law is the law. Mr. Cummings remain unbending on his change message. Unlike George Weah, who enjoys the comfort of Prince Johnson, evidence have come up that Prince Johnson is a notorious war criminal. He has admitted killing our former president. Listen,
Stealing, killing, whatever else,
yeah, Mr. Cummings,
to them stealing, killing,
is it if any of my team members, if evidence come out that he was involved in stealing, killing, or participating in the Liberian Civil War, listen to what Mr. Cummings is saying.
whatever else, whether they support me or not, the rule of law will run its course.
Yeah, Mr. Cummings, whether they support me or not, the rule of law will take a course. So if you want to argue, Mr. Cummings is saying, any of my team members, it is evidence for a legal jurisdiction based on your participation in stealing or killing during the Liberian Civil War or even after. The law will take a course. Whether you support me or not, the law will take a course. This is from the mouth of a change maker. This is Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings remain unbending on his decision to liberate our people, regardless who is on a team, how you proceeded in the past. But the law is the law. If the law come for you, I will deliver you. Yeah, Mr. Cummings, if the law come for you, regardless how influential you are on my team, regardless how robust you are on my team, regardless how popular you are on my team, if any evidence come out that you participated in the Liberian Civil War or steal the Liberian people money by illegal jurisdiction, the law will take a course whether you support me or not. I will surrender you to legal prosecution. Unlike George Weah, who said in the 2017 election that the establishment of the War and Economic Concord was going to be his number one priority. But after taking power, because of his relationship with a former rebel leader, a general who led numerous of hoodlums to kill our former president, Samarkand, President George Weah is dining and whining with Prince Johnson. I think the president is not man enough because anyone who is man enough to make a statement definitely go by what he or she says. And Mr. Cummings is no exception.
They know that. I'm serious about that. But there were a lot of people we name who didn't have any of these issues, if you will. Look, I've done a lot of corporate restructuring, genius stuff. And when you come into an organization as a leader in the private sector, you don't get rid of everybody in the corporation, right? You get rid of a few people, you bring one or two new people in, but typically you change the environment.
Okay. This is a common example to George Weah. Mr. Cummings is saying, even I win, I will not get rid of everybody, not because he served George Weah administration. This is a leader. Listen to serious minded leader speaking. This is a serious minded leader saying, even I win the presidency today, I will not get rid of everybody. I will not get rid of everybody. There are people that I will remove based on your performance and your character. There are people I will remove. But there are some people that I will leave there, but I will change your assignment or your location. This is a leader with breath of fresh air. Unlike Joshua, who came and removed everybody from the system, brought in new people with new ideas who do not even understand how to run the entire Liberian system. Until today, Joshua is faced with a massive government or administration. But Mr. Cummings is saying, no, no, no. When I become president today, it not necessarily mean I have to change everybody in Georgia administration. No. But there are some people that I need to change your assignment based on your performance and your past history. There are some people I will automatically remove based on your performance in government. Listen to Mr. Cummings again.
You don't get rid of everybody in the corporation.
Yeah, you don't get rid of everybody. Hey, Mr. Cummings.
In the private sector, you don't get rid of everybody in the corporation, right? You get rid of a few people, you bring one or two new people in, but typically you change the environment, you change the culture, you change the governance processes and systems. And those same people who were not performing last year will perform this year and perform.
You listen to it. You listen to the scale of performance in the NGO cycle. Your scale of performance, right? If it changes, what Mr. Cummings was saying, scale of performance. They call it SP. So what Mr. Cummings is trying to say that if we place you here, let's say you are a web developer and you are heading a department for web development, but you are not performing, we'll change you to that for now web development to web management. But because you understand web development, you definitely understand web management. So being in that department, you will perform well because you have been honored with it. So the next year you want to perform. Wow. This is a leader. This is a leader. And not because of Mr. Cummings carrying power. They say, oh, Sametua, me, Mr. Cummings, Mr. Cummings can take Sametua for the Ministry of Information, for the Ministry of Finance. He placed Sametua as director to the Ministry of Finance. So if Sametua don't want to accept the position, it will be okay. But because Sametua is not performing as finance minister, definitely you have to bring him to a position where his implementation strategy will be more focused on what he do. It will not be focused based on his administrative procedures, where you sit and everybody do the work. Listen to Mr. Cummings.
Better, because you change the environment, you change the structure, you give them roles that are better suited for them. They know their consequences. They know you demand performance, and if they don't perform, they will lose their jobs. And so that's what we have to do. Look, the country has, I'm sorry to say, not many people, with the experience and stuff that are pure. And I remind Nigerians, you got to meet the country where it is before you change it. If I stay over here, quote unquote, Mr. Perfect, and the country is here, we'll never get to lead the country. You have to meet the country where it is, and hopefully you can change it over time.
Listen to Mr. Cummings. You another can get change the country. If I win as president, so we are government is messing up. I have to start cleaning the system bit by bit. Unlike George Weah King, he's saying you do everything, remove everybody. That is Mr. Cummings right there. That is a leader right there. That is Mr. Cummings. That is exactly what Mr. Cummings is opting to do for our country. That is a leader. That is a leader. And next then we'll move on to Mr. Cummings' change message. When Mr. Cummings speak about change, what Mr. Cummings really mean. Listen to Mr. Cummings.
More jobs for them. Change means better education for them and all their children. Change means investing in agriculture and the country feeding itself. Change means health, so that people. Change means more jobs for them. Change means better education for them and all their children. Change means investing in agriculture and the country feeding itself. Change means health, so that people who get ill can get proper treatment in Liberia. Change means no more corruption. Change means Liberians will have electricity, we have running water in their homes, and we have roads to get to their homes. So those are the fundamentals of what change means to the average Liberian. And I think Liberians are looking for an individual, a leader, and a team of people who they believe can actually deliver those changes, who actually understands the how to deliver those changes. And I believe that's what we offer. More jobs. Change means more jobs for them. Change means better education for them and all their children. Change means investing in agriculture and the country feeding itself. Change means health, so that people who get ill can get proper treatment in Liberia. Change means no more corruption. Change means Liberians will have electricity, we have running water in their homes, and we have roads to get to their homes. So those are the fundamentals of what change means to the average Liberian. And I think Liberians are looking for an individual, a leader, and a team of people who they believe can actually deliver those changes, who actually understands the how to deliver those changes. And I believe that's what we offer.
That is Mr. Cummings' change message. That is when Mr. Cummings speak about change. That is what Mr. Cummings means. Mr. Cummings speak about uh, job creation. That is the change that we need, as Mr. Cummings rightly said. So we will take a look through Mr. Cummings' vision that we're always doing on the show. We will always play Mr. Cummings' vision because we always want to be on top of Mr. Cummings' game. Listen to Mr. Cummings' vision.
Fellow Liberians in the diaspora. I'm Alexander B. Cummings, and I'm running for President of the Republic of Liberia. Liberia just turned 170 years old, the oldest republic in Africa. And yet, we're one of the least developed countries on the continent, and indeed one of the least developed countries in the world. And I say to you, my fellow Liberians, after 170 years, we deserve a better Liberia. We need to ask ourselves some fundamental questions. Why are we where we are? Why, after 170 years, most Liberian homes don't have electricity? Most Liberian homes don't have running water. Most Liberians are unemployed. These are things we can change. These are things we should demand of ourselves and of our leaders. These are things I, as your president, will change for all of you. We, as Liberians, cannot keep doing the same things and expect different results. We cannot keep electing and selecting the same kinds of leaders with the same kinds of experiences and expect Liberia to change. We have to do many things differently, and that starts with selecting and electing new leaders who know how to create jobs, who know how to grow the economy, who will prioritize the Liberian people first before they prioritize themselves. And this is what I offer you. This is what the Cummings, Solonter, and ANC-led government will commit to you, the Liberian people. The other universal truth that I want to share with you, my fellow Liberians, is the best predictor of future performance and future behavior is past performance and past behavior. And again, I ask you to look at my record of job creation, of success, of managing large budgets without one penny going missing. All of these things you can look at and compare to the other candidates. And again, you will see that my past performance and past behavior is a good predictor, a good indicator that what I commit to, we will deliver. And I ask you to make that comparison as you go to the polls on October 10th. There are 5 priorities we have, and we call that the what's. And then there are 5 things we call the how we'll do it. And those priorities are as follows. Our first priority is infrastructure. Simply put, it's electricity, it's roads, it's water, and it's internet and cell phone connectivity across Liberia. We have to invest in infrastructure. That is the top priority. That's the basis on which we can and will do everything else. The second priority for us is job creation. There are too many unemployed, underemployed, and unemployable Liberians. The unemployment rate is over 85%. And therefore, job creation is our next priority, creating jobs for the Liberian people. So after job creation, our next priority is agriculture. We are a country, after 170 years, that do not feed ourselves. Last year alone, we imported over 160 million United States dollars in rice import, and total food imports was over $280 million. These are things we can do for ourselves. We should be producing rice to feed ourselves, and my commitment is that by the end of my first term in office, we will be self-sufficient in rice production. And within education, we're focused on vocational training, teachers training, and adult education. But we have to educate our young people because, again, that's how we can help them create jobs. That's how we can train farmers. And so these things are all linked together. And our final priority in terms of the what's is health. Because you can have good infrastructure, you can have a good job, you can feed yourself, you can have great education, but if you don't have your health, it doesn't matter. And so health is our fifth priority, and there we're focused on primary health care and preventive health care. So those are the what's we'll do for our people, for the Liberian people. How are we going to do these things? The first how is we want to engage Liberians differently in the transformation of our country. We call this hearts and minds. How do we get all Liberians to participate in the changes that are required? We're going to use arts and music and culture and reconciliation and religion. All of these things, we will be deliberate in using these things to engage us as a people in this transformation process. And so we're doing some work on how we can make those things happen. The next how is that we're going to find the money. We have to find the resources, the money, to do all of the what's I mentioned earlier. And the way we'll find the money is first, we'll go after waste in government. You know, we spend a lot of money on things that we don't need, or we pay too much for things that we do need. So for example, I believe the vehicles we buy for our government officials, we spend too much money on that. We should reduce the number of vehicles, and we should buy less expensive vehicles for our government officials. We need to reduce how much they make so we can pay teachers and civil servants and police officers and the military officers and healthcare workers, people who actually do the work. We need to pay them more money and reduce the gap between those at the top and those who actually do the work. The other way we'll find the money is going after this thing called corruption. You know, corruption has been the bane of our country. Is the primary reason why we are as underdeveloped as we are today. And we will aggressively go after corruption. The first thing we'll do is we will appoint a corruption czar, a minister in charge of corruption in the presidency that will coordinate all of the agencies that are meant to find corrupt officials. Secondly, thing we'll do is we'll make sure we are giving the resources, the money, the right people, the right logistics to the anti-corruption agencies, the LACC, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the General Accounting Office, the Public Procurement and Concessions Commission. We will make sure they got the right resources to go after corrupt officials. After that, when we find people who are corrupt, we will prosecute them, we will put them in jail, and we'll seize the assets. It will not be good enough for you just to resign. Okay. So those are the things we'll do to really go after corruption. I have committed that I will not take a salary. The salary that is paid the president, I will allocate it towards helping to fight corruption. That's how important I think it is to us. And then the other way we'll find the money is we'll make sure we're getting full value, the full monies we're due from our natural resources. We'll look to exploit other natural resources so we can get the funds required to fund healthcare, to fund infrastructure, to create jobs, etc., etc. So finding the money is the second how. The next how is we want to create a government of inclusion. We want all sections of our country to be represented in the government. We want opposition political parties to be in government. Because we believe that having a government inclusion will help all of us make the right decisions. It will make sure that we're spreading the resources of our country across the entire country. And then the last two hows, one is growing the private sector. We will focus on growing the private sector so Liberians can primarily benefit from that growth. No longer should Liberian business people be spectators to our economy. And we want to actively support Liberianization and encourage and provide credit and other facilities to Liberian businesses so they can participate. And last but not least, we will use technology. We'll leverage technology to help us achieve our goals. So those are the what's and the how's. But let me end by leaving you again with these two universal truths. One is we cannot keep doing the same things, my people, and expect different results. We cannot keep electing the same people with the same experiences and expect Liberia to change. We need to elect and select different people to lead us, to serve us, to help us manage and run our country. And the other universal truth is the best predictor of future performance and future behavior is past performance and past behavior. And on those two counts, I believe I stand head and shoulders above the other candidates aspiring to lead our country. So I ask you, together, we will change Liberia for the benefit of all Liberians. We will transform our country. We will give us a new start, a fresh start, so that all of us can benefit from this country we love. I thank you. God bless you. God bless the Republic of Liberia.
That is Mr. Cummings right there. We all listen to Mr. Cummings' message. And indeed, his forums like the CNN, Mr. Cummings New Network. Thank you. And because we played and we show evidences, like we said, President Weah lied that he made a statement lying that he obtained 78% of the vote. Just a recap to those that just coming. We gave our input on it that President Weah lied. President Weah did not receive 78% of the vote in 2017. But President Weah did receive 61%, and he lied to our Liberian people. So we play this. This is the evidence. We play the evidence to you. Here's the evidence from the NEC website. So President Weah did not receive 78% vote, but rather President Weah did receive 61% vote. So the president lied. So that is it. Then we move to what Mr. Cummings have done. The talking do. We move to it. We move to what Mr. Cummings have done. Those who have been criticizing that Mr. Cummings have not done anything in this country, those who have been thinking that Mr. Cummings have not contributed to nothing in this country, this is the platform that squarely inform you about what Mr. Cummings have done. We don't only speak to you, but we show you the evidences that you can go and make research. So this is the Oil Cummings Show. Keep sharing this live video and listen to what Mr. Cummings have done. We call this portion when people want to lie that Mr. Cummings have not contributed to nothing in this country. You can play this to them or send this to them for them to be able to know that Mr. Cummings have done this, Mr. Cummings have done that. Listen.
So the last time I was talking to my papi there, my old man there, my picking there, all my rear getting, I went on Broad Street and I went Clarendon, I even went Pinsville, I went Bon, Lofa, Nima, Grand Cape Man, and all my papi there, everybody just telling me, say, the mayor, send we not see the mayor, the man looking like good mayor, the man just good, all the thing the man talking, it makes sense to help our country. But all the people then just keep telling us, say, oh, the man just coming, the man do nothing for Liberia. So I say, you know what? Your way, let me go check so I can find out the thing here. So I went and checked. I checked that when the man was working with Coca-Cola, the man used his position to get people in Coca-Cola to donate about $2 $2 million to support Liberia. During the Ebola time, the man decided, he said, I will get people together, I will use my position. $2 million. He stopped there. He provided scholarship for our children and Liberian children in Liberia and abroad. The man sponsored the Alexander B. Cummings Innovation Center at the AMU University. Imagine that, for our students to be learning better, to get better access to Google things and to learn. Then he decided, he said, no, I will look for local organizations in Liberia that are trying to do work for people to bring water. About 20 other organizations, 20 projects. He decided to sponsor 20 projects for organizations who were building pump, digging well, helping to provide clean drinking water. He stopped there. The man spent almost $4.5 million in the Pinsville area, around the Dupo area, for you who actually living there, to build the first school they call STEM school. That school is supposed to help our children and learn about computer, about technology, about math, about science. The first time ever in the history of Liberia. The man stopped there. The man convinced a friend in America during the Ebola crisis. That time you're not even thinking about running for president. During the Ebola crisis, he convinced a lot of BP people in America. He brought all of them with him to Liberia. He said, you gotta go see for ourselves what's happening in Liberia. He brought some tap branding from Coca-Cola. Because of that, they decided that during the Ebola crisis, Coca-Cola would not shut down, while all the other companies that were closing, Coca-Cola remained open. In fact, Coca-Cola increased their work in Liberia by employing more Liberians. Now what Cummings now do? The main start there, our president Ellen Johnson said, he saw the thing and man said, what? The man too good. I can't believe the thing the man doing. So she decided to get a man the highest honor in the Republic of Liberia. He said, I will honor the man for the kind of good work he's doing. Long Lee, they call it the Ninth Grand Band in the Humane Order of African Redemption. Now what Ellen Johnson said, he get a man to honor the man. I said, even Weah that running will open today, she saw the thing. She said, what? I can't believe it. The man are too good, man. The man too good for the man are too good the way the man helping the country. In fact, she saw the thing for lunch. She said, you know what? In fact, I'm in love with the man. The man too good. But the man will have said, that one not there. He not doing it for you, Weah. Don't be in love with the man. Yeah, he married. I'm my husband. He only doing it for Liberia because he really loved this country. He launched the Cummings Africa Foundation. Since the man launched the foundation in 14 months, the man had undertaken 22 projects, and he now support 25 different organizations in Liberia, and about 30,000 plus Liberians now benefit from the projects the man now do. He now spent about $289,000 on education, agriculture, and health. The how good a man is, the man paid the Weah school fee for 2,322 students. He won. He spent about $106,000 in actually doing it. The man stopped there. The man went to BWI. The man saw BWI. They played dark, no current. All our politicians that been in the country passing around, they never thought about it at all. The man decided, the man said, okay, I will change this thing and I'm good for the people to be coming to school, no lie. The man buy this big generator. The generator can electrify the whole BWI and even provide more current to people outside of BWI. 350 kVA. The generator cost the man $67,000. The man said, BWI, you use the generator so people can come to school with light. Now that Cummings man, they're talking about, they say the men are good, they don't know the men, and then learn about computer, about technology, about math, about science. The first time ever in the history of Liberia. The man stopped there. The man convinced a friend in America during the Ebola crisis. That time you're not even thinking about running for president. During the Ebola crisis, he convinced a lot of BP people in America. He brought all of them with him to Liberia. He said, you gotta go see for ourselves what's happening in Liberia. He brought some tap branding from Coca-Cola. Because of that, they decided that during the Ebola crisis, Coca-Cola would not shut down, while all the other companies that were closing, Coca-Cola remained open. In fact, Coca-Cola increased their work in Liberia by employing more Liberians. Now what Cummings now do? The man start there. Our president Ellen Johnson said, he saw the thing and man said, what? The man are too good. I can't believe the thing the man doing. So she decided to get a man the highest honor in the Republic of Liberia. She said, I will honor the man for the kind of good work he's doing. Long Lee, they call it the Ninth Grand Band in the Humane Order of African Redemption. Now what Ellen Johnson said, he get a man to honor the man. I said, even Weah that running will open today, she saw the thing. She said, "What? I can't believe it. The men are too good, man. The men too good for the men are too good the way the men helping the country." In fact, she saw the thing for lunch. She said, "You know what? In fact, I'm in love with the man. The man too good." But the man will say, that one not there. He not doing it for you, Joel. Don't be in love with the man. Yeah, he married. I'm my husband. He only doing it for Liberia because he really loved this country. He launched the Cummings Africa Foundation. Since the man launched the foundation in 14 months, the man had undertake 22 projects, and he now support 25 different organizations in Liberia. Liberians now benefit from the projects the man now do. He now spent about $289,000 on education, agriculture, and health. The how good a man is, a man paid the Weah school fee for 2,322 students. He won. He spent about $106,000 in actually doing it. The man stopped there. The man went to BWI. The man saw BWI. They played dark, no current. All our politicians they been in the country passing around. They never thought about it at all. The man decided. The man said, "Okay, I will change this thing, and I'm good for the people to be coming to school. No lie." The man buy this big generator. The generator can electrify the whole BWI and even provide more current to people outside of BWI. 350 kVA. The generator cost the man $67,000. The man said, "BWI, you don't use the generator so people can come to school with light." That the Cummings man they're talking about, they say the men are good, they don't know the man just coming. That the man, my people, when you go vote, remember Alexander B. Cummings, the man won't change the country. The man want to make the country better. He said, "You gotta stop supporting the politician who been lying to us. Finally, you gotta get together to make our country better." Remember.
So you listen to all of that. You listen to Mr. Cummings' vision. You listen to Mr. Cummings' contribution. You listen to everything. So do not allow people to go and fool you. And lastly, I'll rest on something. Right? I'll rest on this. Lastly, I'll rest on this. To all supporters of Mr. Cummings, both in to all supporters of Mr. Cummings, lastly, I'll rest on this so you can share the video as much as you can in all ANC channels. To all supporters, sympathizers of Mr. Cummings, whether in the diaspora or whether in Liberia, for and on behalf of the All About Cummings Show, please calm down, register, and get your voting card, a voter registration card. Get your voter registration cards. I'm saying this because it is very serious. It is serious to the extent that we need to bring some of this information for you people to see. For and on behalf of all About Cummings Show team, whether sympathizers, supporters of Mr. Cummings, if you are in the diaspora, please calm down to get your voting registration ID. It is essential to our campaign. It is significant to Mr. Cummings' victory, while we will be on the ground during our recruitment process, doing everything. But it is important enough. The reason why is you people contribute immensely to the growth and development of this country. You send your SendWave, you send your Western Union, you send your MoneyGram, you send everything to people in this country. You can come down. Let me show you on the dashboard the deadline of the voter registration. For and on behalf, I'm doing it for and on behalf of all about Cummings Show. Let me show you the deadline. This is the guideline. This is the guideline. This guideline is the guideline for the 2023 voter registration process. If you see on the screen, I'm doing this because I want you people to see on the screen. If you see on the screen, you have January, you have January, you have December 15, 2022 to January 6, 2023. The voting registration process starts in Mosurado County, starts in Bomi County, starts in Grand Cable County, starts in Barbados County on December 15, 2022 to January 6, 2023. Now, after that, on January 21st, 2023 to February 10, 2023, voter registration exercises start in Margibi, Grand Bassa, Bon County, and Lofa. Now, on February 25th, 2023 to March 17, 2023, voter registration starts in Nima, Grand Gile, Beverly, Maryland, Grand Crew, Sano, and Riverside. The voter registration process starts. All supporters, sympathizers of Mr. Cummings who want to make the difference should be the one doing this. We should be able to come down and make the needed change. You send people that you don't even know and have members of your family money on a daily basis. You can come down and influence them. Then you go into the specific counties, their districts to register and vote. It is serious. Because after the voter registration, after March, my next debate on this platform is for everyone to post with excluding your voter registration card. Wow. Post excluding the date, you have the date, your age, and what have you. You post it for people to know that you get ready to vote. It is serious, it is important. It is serious, it is important. It is very serious and also it is important to the growth and development of our campaign. La bonne say, I finished my own. La bonne say, I finished my own. Because there are some people who will stay and behave like be shot. You don't come to register to get a voter registration card. You host a podcast, who go there, who say what I want to say. They hear you, you get no decision to make in this country, so you don't have it. So you mean you're not getting no decision to make in this country, so you don't have a voter registration card. I mean, we will be making a decision for you, and you got to listen to us. 2023 is a different ball game. 2023 will be more harder than 2017. Because 2023 is George Weah versus the Liberian people. 2023 is President Weah versus the Liberian people. Let us take this advice and be able to prepare ahead of time. Let me upload it again for you to see it. I'll upload it and for you to view it and screenshot it. You can view it, screenshot it, have it. You'll be informing people. Look at the schedule. I mean, on Christmas Day, there will be no voter registration. On New Year Day, there will be no voter registration. You get happy. So that is it. See it and screenshot it and get it. You will know the various locations and the time, the date, the various locations and the date that the voter registration exercise will take place in this country. That is it. Screenshot it, have it. So that is it, my people. What we'll do now, we'll play this music, the system shaking, and then we call today a day. Let's play this music for everyone to rejoice. Call the music system shaking.
L-I-B-U.
Straight up.
Let's go. They finish, oh.
George Weah presidential finish at the music. George Weah presidential finish. It finish. His presidency ends in 2023. At the music here.
L-I-B-U.
Straight up.
Let's go. They finish, oh. They finish. Hell is on Cummings, they finish. They finish, oh. They finish. Partiality, finish, oh. They finish. They finish, oh. They finish. The corruption pays, they finish, oh. They finish. Everybody have an enjoy. When one get wet, babu jaw, that thing have to stop. Look, we have facility. Feeding our money, walking away with impunity. Yeah. We suffering and enjoying. While we crying, they laughing. Hospital like a medicine. Now I want to say, they can give us straight to overseas. But we have somebody that coming, somebody that coming to bring justice for the poor. And it's having somebody that coming, through the CPP to wipe away our sorrow. We having somebody that coming, somebody that coming. We're cool here facility. We having somebody that coming, somebody that coming. But you got opportunity. They finish, oh, they finish. Hell is on Cummings, they finish. They finish, oh, they finish. Partiality, finish, oh, they finish. They finish, oh, they finish. The corruption pays, they finish, oh, they finish. Yeah, tell the group of people in the country treating all the slave. If you try to talk as soon as get you, you will go to jail. Look at that, violating our way, our staffing in that care. Liberia wake up when I send somebody to rescue us. And the Senate come and pet you out in the future. You got election ability, peace and transparency. Coming to the system for everybody to benefit. So shine your eye, be wise, don't be fooled again. Breaking agriculture, smoke, you might get past the building. Infrastructure, development, see that kind of thing. Job opportunity, with gender equality. CPB all the way, collection in our area. Paper justice, education in our area. Hey, all the property, if taking our country money, seeing the overseas, they finish. Money well, babu job, they finish. You get connection, you get into the house, they finish. CPB, oh yeah. They finish, oh. Hell is on Cummings, they finish. They finish, oh, they finish. Partiality, finish, oh, they finish. They finish, oh, they finish. The corruption pays, they finish, oh, they finish. They finish, oh, they finish. Hell is on Cummings, they finish. They finish, oh, they finish. Partiality, finish, oh, they finish. They finish, oh.
So this is how we call today a day. This is how we call today a day. I'd like to say thank you to everyone for joining this conversation. It was nice talking to you. Tomorrow we'll be here again because we are committed to do what we have to do. Thank you for being here with us to the end of this conversation. Thank you very much. We play this music and we be out of your door, out of your phone.
Finish. They finish, oh, they finish. Corruption pays, they finish, oh, they finish. Everybody have an enjoy. When one get